Today we're at the Buchanan 64.33. This is an outstanding hunting farm. Jason actually sold this farm 5 or 6 years ago, and even since that time it's had awesome buck history, good harvest history, funnels a lot of big deer, especially in that rut time of the year.
Yeah, really good history, not only of game harvested, but on trail camera, and even recently this year with our own trail cameras. Awesome proven history. It has everything. You've got cover, you've got topography, you have ag, you have access. It's a slammer of a hunting property. We want to show you why. Right behind us is one of 2 really nice redneck blinds on the farm, and if this farm had a middle name, it would probably be Topography. And this thing is on top of a high ridge overlooking a really cool valley and trail system here. Pretty cool spot for a blind.
Yeah, you can see a long ways back to the east too, even on the neighbors and then some, maybe the next county even, but like you said, Topography would be the middle name here. You got a ridge top that runs north and south along the west edge, and then you have one that runs east and west along the north edge, so you have multiple ways to get to different spots depending on what the wind's giving you. And the deer really like to hold up in the pinch of that ridge system, and you can get around them without bumping them out.
Yep. This spot here is pretty cool. It's one of the key features on the farm, not only topography wise, because this wraps around here a soldier's point and drops down into a ditch behind it, so real natural funnel. He's got stands on both ends, and he's used this also as the side-by-side access. So in a lot of ways it's a topography and an access feature of the farm, but obviously a really hot spot for deer too.
Yep, it's a established mineral site too, so the deer are accustomed to visiting this spot. We've gotten pictures of a couple really nice 3 or 4 year olds, not sure, one really tall brow tine buck and another 9-pointer, just a clean 9-pointer. Very frequent here. Then also a mature 6-pointer, which is kind of unique. I don't know that it would be everybody's target buck, but he's a cool one to watch. Just good buck activity and deer activity all around in this spot.
Yeah, daylighting too. Not only during velvet season, but even now that they're hardhorns, daylighting.
Yep. Here we are at another one of our established trail camera spots. We've had a lot of good footage here. Again, the topography on this farm is just next level. Drives all the deer movement, funnels a lot of traffic from elsewhere. The reason this spot is so good is there's a drainage behind us, so rather than crossing the steep banks of that drainage, they're going to go parallel to the drainage to ease the workload. And there's this nice kind of flat cut through here before it goes up into the head cut of the other drainage, where is kind of an upper thermal hub. There's an old pond here that catches downward thermals too, so they have a couple stages of checking what's around them via their scent before they move elsewhere on the farm.
Yeah, just a perennial hub here, like you said. And the first time I listed this farm 5 or 6 years ago, we had a really good scrape set up back there and got a lot of good trail camera footage here. And now the scrape appears to be here. There might still be one back there in the timber. They're just getting started on that. But we had a pretty cool early picture of a buck. He still had his velvet on, but he was actually doing a lip curl, checking some does here. But just a natural thermal hub, especially in the evening when those thermals start falling downhill. There's a bowl here that creek he mentioned is going to funnel in this way, and the bowl behind us. This is always going to be a hub of deer activity right here where we're standing.
Here we're standing in what's beans this year. There are 11 or so acres of tillable on this farm that's currently being rented at a 2/3, 1/3 agreement, where the farmer keeps 2/3 of the proceeds and a third of it goes to the landowner. And with that, he leaves a good portion of the crop standing for a late season food plot. And even walking down here, there's quite a few bean pods and things still available for the deer to eat.
Yeah, this tillable field is going to be a heck of a draw because there's a lot of bluff country timber around us. You probably know that deer are going to use saddles like the 2 behind us for travel. Awesome scenario for rifle season or muzzleloader season, longer shots. Get up here, get a high vantage point, have an easy shot to either one of these saddles, and you know deer are going to be using these all the time, as well as feeding here in the bean field, because this is cropland is at a premium here in bluff country where it's mostly hard.
You can see here we're in another redneck blind. This is one of 2 on the property, another ridge top blind. Classic setup here where you've got agriculture on one side and bedding on the other. So depending on the time of day, how you plan to get here, You can use either the open agriculture or the cover on the other side to get into this blind undetected.
Yeah, just another perfect setup. Rifle season, muzzleloader season, either way. This blind, like you said, right where you're supposed to be, in between the food and the bedding. What's really cool about this bluff area here, especially where we are, it's a very narrow and steep bluff ridge system, really narrowly defining deer movement within this topography.
Yep, you go either side, the properties next door, off of the ridge one side or the other, and we're just up here at the plateau of where all of the traffic on the front of the bluff ends up. And to amplify that, you have a variability of cover type. So we've talked about topography, we've talked about grassy bedding, we've talked about agriculture. We haven't really spoken much on the timber here and how that goes along with the other features that make this such a great hunting property.
Yeah, there's timber where it needs to be, cover where it needs to be, and like I said before, it's really defining deer movement very well. For example, there's a heavily worn trail right behind us that dumps out to a very obvious saddle cutting up and over the tillable field. And again, just really well defined, compact deer movement on this property. Probably the key reason why this has been such a good producer over the years, deer and turkeys. Frankly.
Yep. Good big buck history, good turkey history, and a little bit of everything that you can hunt here in Northwest Missouri at least. Thanks for following along on today's property tour. We have a new list price here at $399,000, and the seller is encouraging you to bring any and all offers. So give me a call, 816-752-7390. We'd love to show it to you and let us know what you think it's worth.